Hi, thank you for joining me. Today I want to share with you just a maintenance method, I would say, and just a tip for reusing your cleaning rice. Now the tip with this particular tip is that the rice will keep the pastel chalk clean as you use it. But it will get dirty over time, so it won't clean off everything like this, but the majority of it will. The loose powder, as you can see, it's starting to come off, but the loose powder will rub off on the rice. And time to time you will need to clean the rice, or you can just throw this out and use some new rice. But what I do with this is I just empty off all my chalk, my pastel crayons, paints, whatever you like to call them, pull them all out. And I'd started this already with a larger amount and realized I could do a video, so excuse the rambling. And I'm just removing all of the chalk out of here. Make sure it's out. That looks about right. So what you need is, of course, your rice that's dirty. I use these shamu, whatever you call them, to dry some of the water off the rice. So I kind of put these over to the side. And I place these in a strainer. Looking at this, you can tell there's some bits and pieces still in there. But if you see them, you can pull those out. Now the trick to this is to wash the rice without getting it to a point where it's mushy and that you can reuse it. So this is pretty much, it's not white, but it's much cleaner than what it was. It was really horrendous. So I'm going to add this to it, and you can see the difference in it. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to attempt to show you what I did with that. So for this, you can use regular fresh water out of the faucet, but I catch rainwater and reuse it. So you want to submerge the strainer. This strainer you can pick up at any secondhand store. Submerge the strainer enough so that the rice is underwater. Stir it. Kind of mush it around with your hands. Keep stirring it. And this is the second time I did the large amount of this. And as you can see, it's coming much cleaner. The water will be nasty looking, but that's okay. This only takes a few minutes. And this looks pretty much what the rice, I thought it's white rice, but I don't think it was parboiled. I generally use white rice. And as you see, when you wash it, the pastels will come to the surface. One last dunk. Just shaking it to get the majority of the water out of that. And then I will come over. And the more you leave it sitting, the more the rice will drain and puddle here. But I'm not concerned with that because this chamois is going to absorb a lot of the water. And I'm not concerned with getting every grain there is. I'm doing this in the sun because I feel it will dry faster. and decreasing the chance of it mushing out, because I don't want it to mush out. Just spread it out as thinly as possible. The sun is going to get super hot. And there's some grains sitting on top of each other, but I'm not going to worry about that because I'm going to use 2 of these. And then I'm going to take another chamois and place it on top. And just give it a rub. I'm only trying to absorb a little of the moisture off the top. This isn't really necessary because it's sitting in full sun. As you can see, some of it gets stuck. And some of this in the middle is drying already. So you don't need that last, you don't have to put the second layer on here. It's starting to make a mess. And I'm getting impatient, more or less. You don't need that top, but it did help dry it somewhat. Every so often, the sun is beaming pretty hot out here. So every so often, just come out and give it a swirl to stir it up so that the moisture on the bottom, the ones that have moisture on it, can come up or be turned over. You're turning over grains of rice. And then smooth it back out. It doesn't necessarily have to be smooth. Should I say spread it back out so it's not so thick in one area. And that's, once it dries, I'll put it back in the container and then I can continue using it to clean my pastels. Thank you for joining me. Until next time.